Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Dr. Tony Chapter, and this is my part 2 for the review of Master Grade Gouf 2.0. In the last part, we got to see how all these different limbs work by themselves, and also the many accessories. And now we're going to see how all of them work when we combine them all together into one beautiful package. Now, here he is, straight out of the box with no paint apps. And I know what you're saying, well, Dr. Tony Chapter, he's missing a couple pieces. And that's because, well, I'm going to do it on camera right now for you. Right here, these cables pop in right here in the front and in the back. Just shove that in a little bit. See, already, if you haven't noticed, the front right here tends to come off quite easily because it is just a piece like this that gets shoved into the front like so. And again, you pop it on in the back. Time for a 360 of this bad boy. Now, the first thing you can see, this is him straight out of the box with no paint apps or anything. I didn't even bother putting on any of the stickers. And he fills out quite well. Basically, he's a steroid juiced up Zaku 2 with giant angry spikes and just looks twice as menacing. Maybe because he is in a very intimidating baby blue color. Now, the tubing for this one is actually a little bit better, and that's because the connection on the back is stronger. The backpack is actually stronger than my Char's Zaku 2 2.0 Master Grade, and the connection on the head also feels stronger as well. Now, one thing I've noticed so far is the head antenna has a bit of a stress mark already on mine, and that might be an issue on yours as well. Now, the articulation hasn't changed too much, but we're going to go over it real quick. The head can go up and down, tilt side to side, and go not 360 because these giant shoulder pieces block it. But if you move it out of the way, you still can't get it to move any further. That's great, right? Now, moving on to the shoulder, this moves around a little bit, goes up and down, and from there on it pretty much retains all the same articulation for the lower arm. But right here, the shoulder can pop out that much, and this can go over there and touch the other shoulder. Now, moving on to the waist is connected with these energy tubes. Now, these energy tubes do kind of hinder its mobility, and that's because it's connected from the front of the skirt all the way to the backpack. So, I'm going to turn it real quick for you, but that's about it. You can't actually move it side to side. It's kind of stuck. And these tubes are pretty weak as a connection here. Like most energy tube kits, they tend to fall off. So, time for the lower body articulation. The leg can move up like so until it hits the skirt. You don't want to put it out too much further because it does pinch right here and dislodge the whole thing. Now the leg can kick up like so until right around there, so you're not getting too much of a kick out of that. And the back can go back a little bit as well. Now for the rest of the leg, the bottom half, you still get the nice bend, and of course the beautiful ankles that work beautifully are still there. And as a test of how far he can actually do the splits, it's around that much until you see two things that resemble, you can make the, yeah. Now as for the split in the front, he can successfully do it, and that's really nice. And yeah, at first I didn't think it'd be possible. And of course, he can pull off a very very awkward looking kneeling pose. This has to do a lot with the way the waist is actually constructed. It can't give you too much mobility. It can go up and down. But when you do that, most of the time, this part right here falls off for the energy tube. So there are some things that have to be worked on with this kit for sure. Now, arming up this kit's relatively easy. All you do is pull back the thumb like that. I find it's easier that way. And take a weapon choice. Mine is going to be a orange sword. Put that in there. Wrap the thumb back over here. Make sure you get it in there really nice and tight. I find that this doesn't actually hold it too well. The grooves are really good, but there are some weight issues for some reason. And it decides not to hold. After fighting with it for a while, I finally got it into the hand. Now, it was quite hard, and if you move it too much, it is going to get dislodged really, really easily. For some reason, this hand does not like this sword at all. So I recommend not using it. Now, that's not only the main problem. The main problem here is, I guess, the grooves, you can say. The grooves, if it will ever focus. Now, the grooves here have different parts. Now, you could use these ones or these ones, and these ones are pretty much identical on both sides. Now, the only problem is you probably want to use this one, because if you use the back one, it falls out even easier. But apparently it doesn't matter, and this thing's a piece of junk. Alright, now we're going to move along to the weapon that the Gouf is most famous for. That is the heat rod that he whipped the crap out of Amuro with. Now, it's really simple. You just got to plug this end into this hole right here. And then bam, it is connected. Now, one thing that I did notice, seeing as it is completely made out of different parts, is that it's really easy to dislodge and for it to actually fall down, because it is so flexible. So what you want to do is give it a nice pose and pray that it stays there. Now, something like this that stays up is actually going to fall down over time. So your best bet is to do something more along the lines of it's lying on the ground and being dragged. Now, that's something you really can't mess up. After struggling for a very long time, I finally actually got the whip to stay in his hand. Now, this is pretty much as you can get it in without it staying or falling out, because the fingers are, kind of loose as well, because they are all in ball joints. So this is as good as that's gonna get. So I'm probably gonna keep him with the whip on the ground pose, dragging along. That's probably the best I can do with the whip. Just for fun, just to show you guys how long it could actually stay up fully straight, we're talking about a couple milliseconds here. Just like before, he does have another accessory, his hand. Now, how you gotta do that is you take this part off of the normal hand, and then you go and plug it in here. And then you plug it into the hand hole. And voila! You got some really big hands. Now, these move pretty well. They're articulate, sort of. And really, posability doesn't change much with it. It's kind of just like an oversized hand, really. So anywhere you can put the arm, position the arm, you can make him shoot off. So that's good, I guess. The last accessory for this guy is his shield, and connecting to it is really simple. Just gotta pop it in to these grooves right here. And voila! It is connected. Now, what you have here is him holding it sideways. Now, it can only really connect one way, so if you want him holding it like that, you're going to see the inner frame. And you got to hold it sideways for it to work like that. And if you want to make him hold it in the front and actually block something, you have to make his hand look like that. Great, right? Or, of course, you can move it up like this. And so far, there are no weight issues with this, except because of the shoulder armor and how clunky it is, you can only raise it to a certain degree, like right there. So it's not really the shield's fault, it's more of these clunky shoulder armors that actually hinder most of the mobility and movement for the upper body. And here's a size comparison with the Master Grade 2.0 Zaku 2, Char's Custom. Now, he is quite a bit bigger, especially because of the shoulder pads, but also on the chest, the thighs, and in the legs. Everything about him is much bigger than him. Now, it looks like he's been hitting the gym and actually doing all of his workouts and drinking protein and everything. and he's kind of been slacking off and skipping leg days. And that concludes my look at what the mobile suit is all about. Now be sure to come back in the next part when we go over, well, the conclusion. See if you want to actually spend your hard-earned money on him or not, and to see all the good and bad points about him. My name is Dr. Tony Chopper, and I'll see you guys at the next part.